Welcome back to Breadcrumbs for Life, where simple steps bring real results. This is Frances, and today we're going to talk about something that can be small. Remember, focusing on breadcrumbs, but it changes everything. This week and last week, I've been in a group, and we've been talking about our values. And today, the subject is personal care. So, how our values relate to personal care is super important because we can get stressed, we can get overwhelmed, we can feel off balance and pulled in a lot of different directions. So we have to have some type of compass that brings us back to what we're really needing to be focused on. And writing down our values and knowing our values can be that compass. And I know that a lot of us hadn't thought about our values, probably don't even know what values are. So I just wanted to stop just a minute and explain what values are. The things that we value most in life, the things that we want to put first in our life so that we can make a difference in the areas that truly matter. Our values stay with us no matter what. I had a manager back at the power company that talked about his values, and he kept them in his back pocket. And he was in the war. He was in a lot of hard times, a lot of tough situations, but he kept those values in his back pocket. And it was a book. It was a small book of the New Testament, and that was his compass. That was his code. That was what he would come to every time he had troubles. And so if you're a believer, your values are going to be aligned with God, obviously. But if you're not a believer, your values are important. And you've got to think about what values that you have most. Some examples are kindness or generosity or growing, developing, learning. Some values, there's tons of them out there. I would suggest to Google how to find your values, and you'll get a list of them. A good exercise to do that I've done in a lot of different groups that I've been in is to get the list of 50 or more values and circle which ones stand out to you first. And then after that, highlight the few that you've circled to see if you can come up with 3 values. John Maxwell does this in some of his programs and in his books. There's a specific book I'm talking about and reading today called Today Matters. And one of the things he talks about is he says your values are your anchor, your compass, and your faithful friend when things get stormy. So what he recommends is to take your values. Some people might have 12, some might have 3, but it's good to kind of hone in on the values that you feel are important and maybe put them into different categories. So if you feel like you have 12, that's kind of a lot to juggle. So take the values and say, okay, I've got generosity and giving. I can kind of put those 2 together. So think on how you can kind of incorporate them to maybe 3 to 5 values, because you're going to want to have your values with you, and going through 12 a day is a lot. But something else that John Maxwell says, once you determine what your values are, to write down a sentence that would align with who you are, that would make your values more concrete, and then to visit them regularly, and it'll help you to stop drifting and getting off track. And that's what self-care is about, taking care of what matters most to you so that you can stay on track, so your mind doesn't go everywhere and you feel flustered and guilty and annoyed and all the things. But you can spend your energy where it really counts, and you can say no without feeling guilty, and you can feel more grounded and less reactive. So here's a simple practice for today. Write down your 3 to 5 values. Go through the list that you find online. Some might be kindness or growth or honesty or creativity or courage. And these are going to be your compasses that you come back to. Okay, am I doing this today? Am I being honest? Am I being creative? Am I doing something that leaves a legacy? And then beside each one of those 3 to 5 values, jot down how you want to live that out. How do I want to live this out? And you may want to make a sentence that's a confirmation or affirmation of what you want to say every day so that you can remember these values. And then come back tomorrow and then the next day. So this exercise, once you get your 3 to 5 values down, will probably take 3 to 5 minutes a day. But over time, it'll become more than a list. It'll become a guide to help you choose peace and clarity and confidence. Even when everything around you is shifting, you will have your values that can keep you grounded. So thanks for joining me today. You're not just getting through the day, you're choosing how to live it. And until next time, leave a breadcrumb and make a difference. This is Frances.